Balyasaki, the childhood friend. The movie begins in a classroom setting. Three friends, Krishnan, Lakshmi, and Venu, occupy the front row. As the teacher asks Krishnan to read aloud, a small crisis arises. He hasn't brought his textbook. Quick thinking Lakshmi lends him hers. However, when the teacher turns to Lakshmi, she too is without her book. Venu, ever the helpful friend, offers his own. The teacher, initially displeased, is ultimately touched by the trio's unity and forgoes any disciplinary action. Venu returned home in the evening. Hailing from a wealthy family, he'd lost his father years ago. His mother, determined to see him succeed, harbored dreams of him becoming a renowned doctor and planned to send him abroad for higher studies. With his mother's blessing, Venu carried the snacks meant for Lakshmi, a small gesture of friendship and gratitude. Lakshmi and Krishnan, their hands dirty with soil, worked together to plant a young mango tree. As they finished, Krishnan, a hopeful gleam in his eyes, said, "Once this tree grows tall and strong, I'll climb it, pluck the sweetest mangoes, and give them all to you." Years later, the mango tree, now a towering giant, bore fruit. Krishnan, remembering his childhood promise, climbed its branches and picked the ripest mangoes, offering them to Lakshmi. Lakshmi, drenched in muddy water, stood fuming. A sleek car, the culprit of her misery, had just sped past, leaving a trail of disdain. The car screeched to a halt, and a man, his face etched with concern, emerged. As he attempted to clean her soiled dress, his gentle gestures only fueled her anger. A passerby recognized the man, his eyes widening in surprise. It was Venu, now a doctor returning from his overseas studies. At Venu's home, a buzz of excitement filled the air. Preparations were underway to welcome Venu's triumphant return. Pankan and Gowri, the loyal servants, were particularly enthusiastic, their faces beaming with anticipation. A car rumbled to a stop outside Venu's home. Pankan, eager to greet his young master, rushed towards the vehicle. However, to his surprise, it was a wealthy old man and his elegant daughter, Vilasini, who stepped out. Venu arrived home, his heart filled with nostalgia. Spotting his old friend Krishnan amidst the crowd, he warmly embraced him, reliving old times. Little did he know, Lakshmi had also arrived. Lakshmi, her hands submerged in soapy water, was busy washing clothes. Krishnan, appearing unexpectedly, engaged her in a conversation. As they talked, it is revealed that he is working in a local cloth weaving unit. Venu arrived at Lakshmi's home, their eyes meeting across the room. A spark ignited between them, and as they engaged in light-hearted banter, their flirtatious exchange filled the air with a sense of youthful exuberance. Pankan, now a trusted employee at Venu's clinic, caught his boss lost in a photograph of Lakshmi. A surge of affection washed over Venu, and he handed Pankan a beautiful sari, requesting him to deliver it to Lakshmi. Pankan, ever the blundering servant, gives the sari to Venu's mother. She thinks it is a birthday gift for Vilasini. Venu's mother, prepared to attend Vilasini's birthday party. Venu, excused himself, claiming he would join them later after a brief visit to the clinic. Venu's mother arrived at Vilasini's home. Radhakrishnan, Vilasini's dance teacher, was also present, and the conversation soon turned to the potential match between Venu and Vilasini. Venu sat by the tranquil stream, lost in thought. Suddenly, a playful shriek broke the silence. Startled, he turned around to find Lakshmi standing behind him. The unexpected noise jolted him, causing him to lose his balance and tumble into the cool water. Lakshmi, surprised by his reaction, quickly apologized and helped him out. As they stood there, water dripping from their clothes, a romantic connection, subtle yet undeniable, began to form. However, the sound of her father's voice cut through the moment. With a blush, Lakshmi quickly bid him farewell and disappeared into the distance. Vilasini's dance teacher Radhakrishnan tries to talk her out of the marriage proposal with Venu. It is evident that he is interested in her. But Vilasini does not budge. She seemed irritated and distant. Venu, his heart filled with hope, confessed his feelings for Lakshmi to his mother. However, his mother, concerned about their social disparity, dismissed his plea. Undeterred, Venu, with unwavering determination, convinced his mother to consider Lakshmi. Just as Venu was making headway in convincing his mother, Kittu Pillai, Lakshmi's father, unexpectedly arrived. He informed them of Lakshmi and Krishnan's impending marriage next week and humbly requested financial assistance. Venu and his mother were stunned, their plans for the future thrown into disarray. Kiddu Pilay's unexpected announcement about Lakshmi and Krishnan's upcoming marriage left them speechless. Pankan, ever the quick-thinking servant, intervened, assuring Kiddu Pillai that he would discuss the matter further at a more opportune time. Venu sat dejected, his heart heavy with disappointment. His mother, sensing his distress, gently comforted him. She inquired if he had officially discussed marriage with Lakshmi. When he admitted he hadn't, she assured him that no one was at fault. To lift his spirits, she reminded him of his advantages, his wealth, education, and handsome appearance. She pointed out that unlike Krishnan, he had many suitable options. So let Krishnan marry Lakshmi. This perspective shift calmed Venu. He resolved to let go of his feelings and, as a gesture of goodwill, offered to bear the expenses of Lakshmi and Krishnan's wedding. At Lakshmi's home, a somber mood hung in the air. Kiddu Pillai, concerned about his daughter's happiness, inquired if Venu had ever formally proposed marriage. Lakshmi, her heart heavy, admitted that he hadn't. Kiddu Pillai, with a knowing look, clarified the misunderstanding. He thinks that Venu's kindness had been misinterpreted as romantic interest. He also revealed that Venu was set to marry Vilasini. The conversation highlighted the unfortunate lack of communication between Venu and Lakshmi, a missed opportunity that had led to a series of misunderstandings. Venu retreated into a shell of despair, reluctant to leave the confines of his home. Vilasini, concerned for his well-being, visited him, determined to lift his spirits. She tried to engage him in light-hearted conversation, but his responses were tinged with sadness. As they say in The Beach, Vilasini attempted to spark a romantic connection, but Venu's heart remained heavy, his thoughts clouded by the past. Lakshmi and Krishnan, now married, embarked on a city adventure, visiting the bustling zoo. Meanwhile, Pankan and Gauri, the loyal servants, tied the knot, their love story a testament to enduring loyalty. As time marched on, Venu and Vilasini, too, embarked on their own journey of marriage, their lives unfolding in a way that was both expected and unexpected. The world, ravaged by the Second World War, was plunged into a deep economic crisis. Jobs were scarce, and poverty gripped nations. Krishnan, along with countless others, found himself unemployed, struggling to make ends meet. The once vibrant world was now a shadow of its former self, haunted by the specter of want and despair. Lakshmi and Krishnan, now parents to 2 young children, were grappling with the harsh realities of poverty. Their once comfortable life had been eroded by the economic downturn. One day, Krishnan returned home, a small amount of money clutched in his hand. With a heavy heart, he handed it to Lakshmi, a glimmer of hope in his eyes. Their child, understanding the dire situation, took the money and ventured out to buy a small quantity of rice, a meager provision for their hungry family. Lakshmi's father, despite his age, continued to work tirelessly in the fields. One fateful day, he collapsed. Concerned neighbors rushed to his aid, carrying him back to their home. Krishnan sat at home, his heart heavy with despair. The lack of employment had cast a dark shadow over his family, and he was struggling to provide for their basic needs. As he pondered his bleak future, Kiddu Pillai was brought home. A cruel twist of fate, some villagers taunted Krishnan for allowing his elderly father-in-law to work. The words, harsh and unforgiving, struck a chord deep within him. That night, haunted by their judgment, he made a difficult decision. Without a word to anyone, he slipped away into the night, determined to find work and alleviate his family's suffering. Lakshmi, her heart heavy with worry, wept uncontrollably. The sight of her ailing father, Kiddu Pillai, confined to bed, was heartbreaking. The once vibrant man was now a frail shadow of his former self. Vilasini, eager to experience the cultural richness of the city, persuaded Venu to accompany her to a dance performance. Despite his initial reluctance, he agreed. As they exited the theater, they unexpectedly encountered Radhakrishnan, Vilasini's former dance teacher, and his friend Nair, a notorious yellow journalist. After exchanging pleasantries, Vilasini and Venu took their leave. As they walked away, Radhakrishnan turned to Nair, his eyes filled with a hint of longing. He confessed that he had once harbored feelings for Vilasini. Lakshmi rushed her ailing child to Venu's clinic. It was there, amidst the concern for her child's health, that Venu received the troubling news about Krishnan and Kiddu Pillai's illness. Venu kindly offered Lakshmi some money to buy fruits for her sick child, but she politely declined. Upon Lakshmi's return, Kiddu Pillai informed her that some creditors had visited, causing distress with their demands for repayment. Kiddu Pillai suggested that Lakshmi ask Venu's mother for money to settle the debts. Once Lakshmi departed, Venu arrived to assess Kiddu Pillai's condition. He quickly realized that Lakshmi had visited his mother's house to request a loan. Upon her arrival at Venu's home, Lakshmi was met with insults and ridicule from Vilasini, who made fun of her poverty. Unable to bear the humiliation, Lakshmi retreated without making her request. When Venu arrived, he sent the necessary money to Kiddu Pillai through Pankan. However, Vilasini was unimpressed by his gesture. Venu refused to advertise his clinic in Nair's yellow newspaper. Nair, feeling slighted, vowed to retaliate. Venu encountered Lakshmi's distressed daughter crying alone on the street. Moved by her sorrow, he took her with him, providing her with food and new clothes. Lakshmi received a letter from Krishnan informing her of his army enlistment. Overjoyed by the news, she was surprised to see her daughter return with new clothes and toys. When she learned that Venu had gifted these items, Lakshmi scolded her child, offended by his generosity. Vilasini was taken aback when she saw Lakshmi's daughter playing with Venu's son. She scolded the child and, upon noticing the new dress, inquired about its origin. The child innocently replied that Venu had given it to her. Vilasini, suspicious of Venu and Lakshmi's relationship, pressed the child for more details, asking where Venu had given the dress to her mother and if he had given her money as well. Lakshmi received a telegram announcing Krishnan's imminent arrival, filling her with joy. However, tragedy struck as Krishnan was involved in a road accident, plunging his truck into a deep valley. A message, written in English, arrived with Krishnan's belongings. Puzzled, Lakshmi inquired about the message's content. The postman, with a heavy heart, informed her of the devastating news: Krishnan had perished in an accident. The news of Krishnan's death was too much for Lakshmi and Kiddu Pillai, and they both lost consciousness. The postman instructed Lakshmi's child to find a doctor. The child rushed to Venu's house for help. Vilasini, seeing the child, ordered her to leave. The child, determined to see Venu, refused to leave, leading to a heated argument with Vilasini and Venu's mother. Venu, interrupted in his bath, came out to see Vilasini scolding the child. He admonished Vilasini and left with the child. Vilasini, intent on leaving, was stopped by Venu's mother. She made a condition: she would only stay if Venu's mother left. However, Venu's mother says she has nowhere else to go. Venu arrived at Lakshmi's place, where he tended to her as she regained consciousness. He was devastated to learn of Kiddu Pillai's passing. The news of Krishnan's death, delivered through a message, further compounded his grief. Gossip about Venu and Lakshmi spread quickly, reaching Vilasini. Upon Venu's return, Vilasini made provocative comments, hinting at a romantic involvement between them. This infuriated Venu, leading him to slap her. Far away, Krishnan fought for his life in a hospital. Medical staff debated the challenge of identifying the deceased, hinting that the news of Krishnan's death might have been a terrible misunderstanding. Venu's mother sought solace in a pilgrimage to distance herself from the conflict with Vilasini. In a malicious act, Nair published false rumors about Venu and Lakshmi in his newspaper, leading to a confrontation with Pankan. A fierce storm with heavy rain and thunder battered the area. Lakshmi's house, already in poor condition, was at risk. Venu, witnessing the danger from his window, hurried to assist. However, a tree crashed onto the house before he could intervene. He then offered them refuge in one of his old houses. Krishnan miraculously recovered consciousness. Lakshmi, refusing to be dependent on others, rejected Venu's offer of groceries and worked tirelessly to earn her own income. Late one night, Vilasini noticed an ominous figure outside her window. She raised the alarm, and the servants apprehended the intruder, who was later arrested by the police. Venu was shocked to see the defamatory news about him in the newspaper. He confronted Vilasini, questioning how the media had acquired the information. Vilasini vehemently denied any involvement, triggering a heated argument that escalated to discussions about divorce. Radhakrishnan bursts onto the scene, his heart pounding with hope. He implores Vilasini to flee with him. But Vilasini, skeptical and cautious, demands irrefutable proof of Venu and Lakshmi's affair. She yearns to see the betrayal with her own eyes. Radhakrishnan, consumed by his love for Vilasini, vows to do whatever it takes to make her his. A boy brings a letter to Lakshmi. The letter requested a meeting at a specific location at 10 p.m. that night to discuss a matter of utmost importance. Venu gets a similar letter. Nair's intention was to manipulate the situation, allowing Vilasini to witness the meeting. Simultaneously, he planned to alert the police, falsely claiming that illicit activities were taking place at the meeting location. This would result in the arrest of both Venu and Lakshmi. Radhakrishnan intended to seize the opportunity to elope with Vilasini to Chennai. As night fell, Lakshmi arrived at the designated location, unaware of the intricate web of deceit spun around her. The same mysterious figure who had been lurking near Venu's home followed her, their intentions hidden in the shadows. Meanwhile, Vilasini, driven by suspicion and a desire to expose the truth, also made her way to the meeting place. Her plan was to catch Venu red-handed, but fate had a different course in store. As Lakshmi and Venu met, their conversation unfolded, revealing a genuine concern about the mysterious letters they had received. Vilasini, hidden nearby, overheard their heartfelt exchange. It became evident that the couple was innocent, victims of a carefully orchestrated plot. The realization struck Vilasini with a jolt, shattering her preconceived notions and exposing the true intentions of the person behind the scheme. As Vilasini was leaving, she encountered Radhakrishnan and Nair. Enraged by their deception, she confronted them, accusing them of manipulating her life. In a moment of frustration, Radhakrishnan inadvertently revealed the police's impending arrival to arrest Venu and Lakshmi. This revelation further ignited Vilasini's anger. She rushed to warn Venu, but Radhakrishnan and Nair attempted to silence her. However, their actions drew the attention of the arriving police officers, who witnessed the altercation. The police promptly apprehended both Radhakrishnan and Nair for assaulting a woman. When Venu arrived, Radhakrishnan and Nair, desperate to shift the blame, accused Vilasini of orchestrating the entire plot. Overwhelmed by guilt and remorse, Vilasini, realizing the gravity of the situation, fled the scene. She sought refuge in her bedroom, her heart heavy with the weight of her actions. Venu, furious and betrayed, confronted Vilasini outside the bedroom door. He unleashed a torrent of anger and accusations, blaming her for the chaos and heartbreak she had caused. Driven to despair, Vilasini, unable to bear the weight of her guilt, took the drastic step of ending her life. With a heavy heart, Venu forced his way into the room, only to find Vilasini lifeless in his arms. As she breathed her last, she offered a sorrowful apology for the pain she had inflicted upon him. The mysterious man, cloaked in shadows, approached Lakshmi's house, a glint of malice in his eyes. A dagger, a silent accomplice, was concealed within his grasp. As he knocked on the door, he caught sight of Venu approaching. He hastily retreated into the darkness, his sinister plan temporarily thwarted. Lakshmi, startled, opened the door to find Venu, his face etched with grief. His words, "Vilasini is dead," sent shockwaves through her. The weight of the tragedy hung heavy in the air as Venu entrusted his child to Lakshmi's care until his mother's return. He announced his departure from that place forever. He went on to say that Vilasini had been misled by others. He explained that all these tragic events unfolded because he had considered Lakshmi a sister and had tried to assist her during her difficult times. A dagger clattered to the floor, slipping from the mysterious figure's grasp as he listened to Venu's words. As Venu turned to leave, bidding a final farewell, the mysterious figure emerged from the shadows, halting his departure. The mysterious figure apologized for believing the rumors about Venu and Lakshmi. At first, Venu and Lakshmi didn't recognize him. He was revealed to be Krishnan. A sense of relief washed over Krishnan as he reunited with his family. Venu, though still grieving the loss of his wife, couldn't help but smile at the sight of Krishnan and Lakshmi's happiness.